Welcome to Thriving Tribesmen. My name is Kuri, your host, and I'm excited to be making this episode. So, I got a question from a client, and one of the questions was, um, when do I show sexual intent or sexual desire verbally? Because he did that, and he had a good response from his partner. And when he did, he was now wondering, okay, how much of this can I do without having to sort of ruin things? And it was a valid question because there's a way of complimenting, there's a way of showing sexual intent verbally without then her thinking that you're being sleazy or you're taking something away from her, or at least where it makes it seem like you are, chasing. Again, within seduction, it's a collaborative approach. Whenever most people take, when it comes to seduction, they sort of take this frame of mind that, she doesn't have to do any investment. I'm going to take up all the investment. And therefore, the more you do that, the more she doesn't invest that much. And then she doesn't value your seduction because you're picking up all the slack and she's not doing any part. So therefore, she does not value it. There's no investment in there. And therefore, she doesn't value it as much. So over a period of time, it sort of decays or at least erodes, and then she's not even interested in the whole seduction process because you have taken over it. And there's a few things that happen when you take over it. Usually, people do this because which I was answering him now. I said to him, it's okay to show sexual intent. It's okay to show her that you desire her. But the caveat is that when you do, you show her without any expectation for return or any return. So, for example, if you say something really amazing to her, don't expect her then to say something nice back to you. When you do, this is what we call validation seeking behavior. So, you want to be able to say, I really want to fuck you, for example, and whether she says yes or no, it shouldn't change your state or change the way you view things. That feeling should just remain. And this is an extreme example, but you know what I mean? Like, the more intent that you say, you know what, I'm really bursting out with desire, I really want to have an intimate moment with you. When you say that, her response shouldn't matter when you say it. If it matters to you, her response, then you're validating second behavior. And this is a very bad frame of mind to be in, because then she now feels forced to then feel what you're feeling, which is a terrible place because you're saying, because she could be having whatever moment, or she could be even in the moment where you are, where the chemistry is there, but her chemistry and what she's thinking might not match your sexual intent. So when you then put this bombshell and then you're now requesting the same, it will cause friction and cause resistance. And it's almost this forcing it to try and get into seduction, or forcing it to feel the way you want to go. And this is where the friction happens, because a lot of you guys, when it comes to seduction and when it comes to showing sexual intent, you show sexual intent thinking that by showing that intent, it should raise her sexual intent, but really it shouldn't matter. Your showing of intent is just showing of intent, and it should take the frame of mind of a comedian. Before that comedian presents the jokes, he has to think he's funny. Like, literally, he has to think he's funny. He should never go on there and hope that he's funny and then expect you to think he's funny, because the moment he does that, it bombs. And this is the same thing, that you have to take the frame of mind that you're already seductive, you're already full, and regardless of her response, you don't care. You already believe that you're desirable, you're amazing, you're sexy, and she finds you sexy. And you have to believe that. And regardless of how she reacts to your comment, your statement, that scenario, it doesn't matter. Because this is where a lot of you guys are saying, you don't really get rejected. You just get rejected on your approach, because you've approached it with a frame of mind seeking validation. And when you do that, she doesn't want to give you validation because she doesn't feel part of it. Because again, you are looking, it's almost like, try and make me whole. So it's almost like this And again, it takes this sort of parent-child dynamic, especially when it's a sexual thing, which is quite a bit of a turn-off for women. So it's almost like, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, validate me, validate me, validate me. And again, this is why a lot of times it doesn't work when you are showing sexual intent or complimenting or any. Again, this works with compliments as well. If you're complimenting and saying you look sexy, you're saying you look sexy without having to get it to say thank you. It doesn't matter what she says. Just it should never matter. So like when I say to my wife, you look incredibly sexy, I say it without expecting it to say thank you or appreciation that I've said whatever I've said. It's just a compliment. That's what I think. And that's all. That's it. So hopefully that answers a question for many of you guys when it comes to how much sexual intent can I show without having to look like I'm begging, and how do I show sexual intent without also creating that gap, so I'm not, losing value when I'm doing so. So thank you very much, guys. Hopefully you had a good weekend. I had a very good weekend myself. So thank you very much. See you guys soon. Take care.